What if the most dangerous classroom in history didn't teach math or science, but cruelty? What if the lessons weren't written on a board, but carved into human lives? And what kind of person doesn't just learn that system, but masters it?
Okay, the end she died, they took her. We didn't know what they took her. And I say to them, yeah, you know what, that soup, what they make it, was thick. It was nice soup. Where did they get meat? The people had no meat. You know where they get it meat? From that woman. The dead people. They cook them. Civil people had no meat outside. You mean they go give us meat? No. They cook that body who took it. Throw away bones and throw away things. Really?
Forget everything you think you know about school. This story doesn't begin with books, it begins with fear. The year is 1943, and inside a place hidden from the world, a young woman is being trained, not for a job, not for survival, but for power. Standing in front of her is a woman who looks like she belongs on a movie screen, blonde, calm, almost elegant. But behind that calm face, something far darker. Her name is Dorothea Binz. So how does someone like that even exist? Was she born this way or built into it? To understand that, we have to go back, way back. Germany, 1920. A quiet place surrounded by forests, lakes, and simple life. That's where Dorothea Binz was born. Nothing extreme, no chaos, no violence, just an ordinary childhood in nature. She went to school, played outside, lived like any other girl. So where did it change? Because here's the unsettling part. There were no warning signs, no clear moment where everything broke, just a slow shift, a quiet influence, a system that didn't just shape her thoughts, it replaced them. As she grew up, Germany was changing fast. A new ideology was rising, one built on control, obedience, and dangerous ideas about superiority. Young people were pulled into it, trained to believe they were part of something bigger, stronger, better. And Dorothea didn't resist it. She absorbed it. Suddenly, she wasn't just an average girl anymore. She had purpose, identity, a uniform. And with that came something powerful, belief. Not just in her country, but in a system that divided people into those who mattered and those who didn't. And once someone truly believes that, what are they capable of? By 1943, that belief turned into action. While others chose normal lives, Dorothea made a decision that would define everything. She volunteered to work at Ravensbrück concentration camp. No one forced her, no one pushed her. She chose it. At first, her role was small: kitchen work, laundry, basic tasks. But even then, something was building. Because every day she watched the guards, the authority, the fear they created. And she didn't want to serve anymore. She wanted control. Then the opportunity came. War expanded, staff was needed, and Dorothea stepped forward. She trained, she learned, not compassion, not leadership, but control through fear. And she didn't just pass, she stood out.
The transformation was complete. The quiet girl from the forest was gone. In her place stood someone calculated, cold, precise. A woman who didn't just follow orders, she enforced them. But here's the question. At what point does following orders turn into something else entirely? Inside Ravensbrück, life for prisoners was already brutal. Overcrowded spaces, starvation, endless labor, disease spreading without control. But what made it worse were the people in charge. And Dorothea Binz quickly became one of the most feared. Not because she lost control, but because she never did. Witnesses didn't describe chaos, they described precision. Every punishment was deliberate, every action controlled. That's what made it terrifying. She carried a whip, and she used it, not randomly, but routinely. A mistake, a delay, even being noticed at the wrong time, it could all lead to punishment, and no one ever knew when it would happen. That uncertainty created something powerful, constant fear. And fear, that was her tool. Over time, her authority grew. She rose through the ranks. More responsibility, more influence, more control over both prisoners and other guards. She wasn't just part of the system anymore, she was helping run it. And with that power came decisions, the kind that changed lives in seconds, selections, moments where
On n'avait rien à boire. C'est terrible, manquer, avoir soif, jusqu'à en mourir.
prisoners were divided, those who could continue working and those who couldn't. For guards, it was routine. For prisoners, it was everything. So what does it take to stand there and make those choices without hesitation? By the early 1940s, Dorothea wasn't just enforcing the system, she was shaping others to do the same. New guards arrived, young, inexperienced, uncertain, and she trained them. One of them was just 19 years old, Irma Grace. At first glance, she didn't look dangerous, but under Binz' guidance, that quickly changed. Because the lessons weren't theoretical, they were practical. How to control people, how to create fear, how to disconnect from empathy completely. And Irma learned fast, too fast. She copied everything, the posture, the authority, the methods, and soon she became one of the most feared figures in another camp, not because she invented cruelty, but because she was taught it. So now the question gets deeper. Was this evil being passed down, like a chain reaction? Because Irma wasn't the only one. Others trained under the same system showed the same patterns, same behavior, same detachment. It wasn't random anymore. It was structured. That's what makes this story so disturbing. This wasn't chaos. It was organized, taught, repeated.
A system where cruelty wasn't an accident, it was a skill. But systems don't last forever. By 1945, everything started collapsing. The war was ending. Allied forces were closing in. Camps were being liberated, and the reality that had been hidden for years was finally exposed. Inside Ravensbrück, chaos replaced control, and Dorothea Binz, once powerful, once untouchable, did something unexpected. She ran. She abandoned everything, disguised herself, tried to disappear among civilians. No uniform, no authority, just another face in the crowd. But can someone really walk away from something like that? She was found, arrested, and for the first time, the roles were reversed. No longer in control, no longer giving orders. Now, she was the one being judged. The courtroom was silent as survivors spoke, one by one, describing fear, punishment, control, and her name kept coming up again and again. This time, there was no power to hide behind. Her defense? The same phrase heard over and over again in cases like this. I was following orders. But the testimonies told a different story, not of obedience, but of choice. Because there's a difference between being part of a system and becoming one of its strongest enforcers. The verdict was clear: guilty, sentenced to death. And just like that, the woman who once controlled life and death decisions had her own decided for her. August 1947, inside a prison in Germany. No audience, no speeches, just a quiet room and the final step. It was over in minutes, but the story doesn't end there, because this isn't just about one person. It's about something bigger. How does an ordinary life turn into something like this? Is it the system, the environment, the choices, or a mix of all three? Because the most unsettling truth isn't just what happened inside Ravensbrück. It's that the people involved weren't always extraordinary. They were ordinary, placed in a system that rewarded control, obedience, and power. And when given that power, they had to decide how to use it. Some resisted, others didn't. So now the question is left with you. Was Dorothea Binz a product of her environment, or proof of what can happen when power meets belief without limits?